Fox and Friends co-host Todd Piro is here with us now. Hi, Todd.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Thank you for having
Are you
me
on the
show.
same boat? We're just surviving, not thriving here.
And
Poor
that's
Jackie.
sad. Well, that is sad because I don't know about you, but I had the dream of, hey, one day I'm going to work in media in the Big Apple, and it's going to be my lifelong dream. Well, I did my part of it. I got the job here. The problem is I get in and I get out, save for today when I have to tape Gutfeld, okay? But on a normal day, I'm getting in and out of here because I don't want to be in the city. I don't want to risk my personal safety, and I don't want the cost. And I found something Jackie said to be fascinating. The increased taxes, right? The fewer people, they're going to have to pay more of those taxes. Or, hear me out, liberal blue cities, you could live within your means, bring down the cost of taxes, and I don't know, maybe do the thing that's free, put criminals in jail. But I don't know. That's
but the problem is in cities like this, it's all the vote buying. All that spending you're talking about is how these guys stay in power. So they're not going to stop doing that as long as it's effective in getting them in office. That's how they make their living.
And to that point, they will be able to sustain that for the majority, if not all of their political careers, because it takes decades for the phenomenon that you just discussed to change.
Yeah.
There are always going to be enough votes that you can buy for the people that are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s trying to buy those votes in the Big Apple. They'll have a nice long life in politics, ruin the city in the process, and then they'll move to Florida when they're 70.
Let's talk about Florida.
Yeah.
The Florida governor, Ron DeSantis, saying that he wants to eliminate several federal agencies, including the IRS, if elected. Take a listen.
So we would do education, we would do commerce, we do energy, and we would do IRS. And so if Congress will work with me on doing that, we'll be able to reduce the size and scope of government. But what I'm also going to do, Martha, is be prepared if Congress won't go that far. I'm going to use those agencies to push back against woke ideology and against the leftism that we see creeping into all institutions of American life.
Do you agree?
Great lawyer argument. Here's what I'm going to do. But in the alternative, here's what I have. He does have an alternative. Do I agree it would be a good idea? Yes. Do I agree it will happen? No, because the swamp is so entrenched. You are never going to get rid of those established institutions. I do think it makes sense to try to make them more focused on the mission, which is providing resources to the American people, not DEI and all that other stuff. Every time, just a side note, every time we have Steve Forbes in here, I'm always like, I remember when I was a kid, I loved your flat tax idea. So Ron DeSantis clearly likes that flat tax idea as well, one set rate. But I think it's a fool's errand. I don't think it'll ever happen.
Yeah, I think he would have a better point if he said he was going to try to claw back the $87 billion that's extra funding to expand the IRS and just try to maybe leave it the way it is. But New Jersey parents are also vowing to fight after the state sues 3 of their schools for bolstering parental rights. Take a listen.
He's suing the taxpayers. He's suing the people who don't agree with him. It's a political agenda, and people are worried about the cost of the lawsuit. But what about when I sue Middletown because a guy goes into the locker room with my daughter?
It is about parents being involved, their children, and us as parents are their caregivers, are their caretakers, and we need to be involved in the conversation that's happening in school.
The central issue, Todd. Parents they feel they have a right to know if their kids are going and telling a teacher, that they want to switch genders or they want to use a different bathroom or be called by a different name. They think it is their right to be informed of that.
And those are so many great points by those parents. One that we didn't get a chance to mention was, I think, along the lines of what you were saying. Who cares about the interests of the child more in life since evolution, since we have evolved from whatever we evolved from? A parent. Parents care about their kids more. So why wouldn't you want to tell the parents? They made the argument, those parents that I was talking about, they said this is actually in the interest of the trans kids because nobody will care for that child more than a parent. They need to know so they can get that child the mental help and other resources. And if it's determined that that child really is undergoing gender dysmorphia, then follow the procedures. But don't jeopardize my children and other children by basically putting a wedge between the child and the parent.
Look, this is an attack on parents. I just say it that way. The governor's suing a school because it's trying to help parents raise their kids. That's absolutely despicable.